She has exported African cuisine to Seattle City in Washington State that is located northwest of the United States of America. That is Jen Kagira, who has dared the slippery hospitality sector abroad, and this is her story.
Safari Njema Restaurant, Kenyan Cuisine, can I help you?
It is a routinely busy day for Jen
Hello?
Wanjiru Kagira.
Yeah?
When I met her, she was busy serving customers at her restaurant, Safari Njema, that she has been running for over 8 years now in Seattle City.
My restaurant is known for the perfect Kenyan food that we cook here. Our signature is the fish and the goat, and everything is cooked to order. So when you come to the Safari restaurant, you're willing to wait because you're getting like home food but cooked away from home.
Washington State is in the northwesternmost corner of the USA, miles and miles away from Kenya. Who would have thought a Kenyan would be selling African food in this part of the world?
I sell fresh tilapia. We also have ugali, matoke, Mukimo, chapati, Githeri, and those are the starches that we have. We have the sukuma wiki, the cabbage, the okra, and we have salad. We do a combo with our food. Like you have proteins, you have starches, and you have carbohydrates. And so we have the fish, we have the goat, we have the chicken, we have the beef, and we also have a vegetarian mix that has a lot of proteins, which include jahe, pinto beans, and that is a substitute for the protein for vegetarians.
Jen has regular clients. Others pop up just like that. And it is the word of mouth that has contributed immensely to the growth of Safari Njema.
The Wazungu come here also, and they eat ugali, Mukimo. I think because of the UW. UW is the University of Washington. They have two clinics, one in Kisumu, another one in Nairobi. And I think they bring people there and they also go there. And so many Wazungu that are familiar in Kenya with Kenyan food, they come here quite often. And they say there's none like my restaurant in this area.
To some, this is not just an eatery. It is an important meeting place.
It's not every day that I walk into a restaurant and I'm able to order matumbo, sukuma wiki, cabbage. No. So this is something different. This is special. It connects me to my motherland. Yes.
It connects you to Kenya.
Connects me to Kenya.
One may ask, how does Jen manage to get the ingredients needed to make her uniquely Kenyan cuisine?
I buy all my spices from Kenya. I go to Kenya either every other year or every year, and every time I come, I have a full suitcase full of spices like the Pilau mix, the majani. Sukuma wiki we buy from a wholesale store. It's frozen, but I have a way to make it. I mix with the fresh spinach. That way it's completely as fresh. Ugali we buy from a Mexican store. They have a flour called bunge. It is completely like jogo, or the fine, very fine cornmeal flour. And it's very good. When you cook it, it's just exactly like the ugali at home. In fact, some people make fun that it's even better than the ugali.
And this is what it takes to operate a restaurant here in Seattle City.
All you need is the license, the premises, and the address. That's it.
I mean, what will you be asked for? Some fee, some qualifications?
No, they don't ask you for any of that. You are only required to get a business license, a health license, an address, which means a premises where you're going to operate. And through these two licenses, the business license and the health license, the health officer is going to come to where you're operating to make sure that everything is in order.
When Jen first arrived in the United States back in 1990, she was a caregiver, a job that she did for about 15 years.
It's taking care of the elderly people in their homes. But I was working through an agency called McDonald Agency, which is very hard to get into. But because of the proper introduction that I was given to it when I came to this state, they were able to give me a full-time job.
So what inspired her to venture into her own business?
So I'm aging and I needed to change career because I couldn't lift as much as, in caregiving there's a lot of lifting. And so since I was doing catering over the weekend and people pushed me so much to open the restaurant, I didn't think it was as easy as I found when I did, but it was just a step of faith. The first step I took when I knew I wanted to open a restaurant was to go back to school for cooking here. Because as I understood, there are some, when you do catering to the locals, unless you've gone to school, they won't kind of believe that you can really cook well. So that's the first step I took. I stopped doing the caregiving and I went back to school for a year, to a school called the Cardon Bleu. And so I'm an alumni with them. And soon after that, it took me about 6 months to open this restaurant because I was prepared.
For Jen, this did not come as a by the way. She had an idea about cooking. She says back in Kenya, her mother was in the food and beverage industry and she observed her every step.
She had a restaurant in Mombasa, 2 of them actually. There was a medical bar, popular bar and a stadium bar. And then after, she bought a place in Voi, and that's what we call home. And so there was a medical bar in Voi.
Jen, however, admits that this business has its own challenges.
Mostly challenges I face from workers. I don't know why, but we have a lot of challenges getting workers. The workers we get, they don't stay for a long time. Right now we have students who are here for summer holidays and they are ready to go back in a week's time. And so we'll be looking all over again for workers. During winter, it slowed down a little bit. Like from end of September when people go back to school, I think the weather changes, it starts getting cold, so the business starts slowing down a little bit too. In fact, I always go to Kenya in October because in between October and November, like before we jump to the holiday, is when it gets low completely.
Since opening in 2010, Jen has seen her business grow in size as well as popularity. So how many customers does she serve in a day?
Oh God, it's hard to count. But we serve over 100 people a day. Over 100 people. And over the weekend, Friday is our busiest day, we could go up to 300 people a day. Surprisingly, majority of my customers are Muslims. And I don't know whether it's because I bought the business from a Muslim, and so they continued coming, and therefore my goat has to be halal. And so I buy it from one of the wholesalers who is also a Muslim. I get Kenyans mostly over the weekend because they live a little distant from me, maybe about 30 minutes drive. And so over the weekend I have a lot of them come over. I also get a lot of caterings from the churches. We have a lot of Kenyan churches, and we get a lot of catering from them.
Jina langu naitwa Mohamed Adam, nimetoka Minneapolis, Minnesota. Nimekuja kutembea hapa kidogo, nikaambiwa kuna hoteli moja nzuri hapa ya Wakenya. So nimekuja kutembea kuja kula hapa hivi.
Na wewe unatoka wapi mwenyeji?
Mwenyeji mtoka Eldoret.
Eldoret.
Yeah.
Wewe unatoka Eldoret, Kenya?
Yeah, Eldoret, Kenya. Nilizaliwa huko.
Mzaliwa huko?
Yeah.
Aha.
Yeah.
Alafu kamia Marekani?
Kamia Marekani, yeah.
Jen says her inspiration for starting her business here in the US was her love for Kenya. And she shows this love in many ways other than simply serving the Kenyan cuisine.
I do have a few projects there that I build, and so I send money often, and even when I go home, I go to see how they are doing.
Jen is truly living the American dream, and we conclude this show with her take on what America has taught her on our Diaspora Bite.
Amerikani imenifundisha mambo mengi. Ya kwanza ni patience, hard working. Those go together. Maana usipofanya kazi hapa mwenzangu utalala njaa ama utalala nje. Kwa hivyo imenifundisha through hard work you can make it. Hata kama una biashara, as long as you're willing to get out of that bed and go to work, there's always something to do.
Jane Kagira, through her African delicacy, has indeed made me feel at home during my stay here in Seattle City. Kudos to her and to our dear Daring Abroad viewers. Asanteni sana na tukutane tena next Saturday, same time.